Hey folks, B&O Bloggins here. I know it's been a while since I put up a long form video, so I thought I'd do one about autism and sensory issues. I'd like to just give a shout out to my sister for buying me these for Christmas. They are the loop noise cancelling earbuds, basically earplugs even. And they're a bit like in-ear headphones, and they just kind of let's see if you can get that on camera. They've got kind of like that. They've got different materials and different styles and that, but they're a bit like in-ear earphones, and they just kind of, I don't know if you kind of sit in your ear like that, and then you just kind of twist them in. I don't know if you can really see that, but you just twist them into your ear holes, and they just sit in there like earphones, and they basically reduce the level of noise that you sort of pick up. I can still hear stuff. I can still hear myself talking. I think these particular ones reduce sound by about 16 or 18 decibels or something like that. But anyway, I just thought I'd shout them out just because they bought me them for Christmas, and I've been using them a couple of times, and I think they're pretty good. Because personally, that's one of the things that, when it comes to sensory stimulus or overstimulus, sound is one of the things that I struggle with, particularly, mostly when there's lots of different overlapping sounds going on. So it's not necessarily a volume thing, because I know some people who watch these videos will say, Duncan, you listen to shouty, screamy metal music, how can you not like loud noises? But it's not necessarily about loud, it's about having lots of noise overlapping each other. That's what I struggle with the most in terms of sensory stuff. So having, things to help reduce that a little bit is quite useful for me. I was using them on the train back home from Manchester the other day, and they were quite good at sort of reducing the noise from all the people enjoying themselves around me, basically. So yeah, for me, that's something that's been a constant throughout my life, is struggling with overlapping noise. As an autistic person, it's all the different sensory stimulus have different effects, but for me, the sound has been one constant that I kind of remember for most of my life, basically. So that's just anecdotal for me. There are there are some instances of the sensory stuff that where I'm a bit like, not sure I enjoy that. So in terms of smell, like the laundry and detergent aisle on in a shop in a supermarket can sometimes be a bit much, because there's lots of different smells all happening all at once, and that can sometimes be a bit overpowering. So like the laundry aisle, or like if there's scented candles, that sort of stuff, those smells can sometimes be a little bit overbearing, and a little bit, if there's lots of different smells all at once, I suppose it's a bit like the sound stuff, there's lots of things all at once, that can sometimes be a bit overbearing, and I kind of want to get out of there as quick as possible. try and think of like other senses, because obviously different people will have different experiences with what they sort of perceive through their senses. I remember as a kid, like if there was ever like um, red or blue colours, um, I would sometimes get like, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, but if there was like a blue thing with red something, like we had a bean bag that was blue and it had like multicoloured spots on it growing up, and the red one seemed to like pulse for some reason. It's really weird. It's really weird that memory kind of stuck with me. Yeah, it's really strange. The bright lights, maybe bright flashing lights, maybe another thing that I struggle with. But yeah, it's really like the different visual stimuli will affect different autistic people differently. But for me, it's always been the sound, and then maybe the smell, and then lights and feelings, lights and touch, I should say. Um, I don't know. I don't really. I can't think of anything particularly that I don't know. It's hard to I can't think of the words I want to use. Don't want to use triggered, because that seems a bit over the top. But yeah, it can be really disorientating sometimes, particularly the sound stuff. I guess my brain kind of struggles to process it all, and it doesn't really know what to do. So it kind of like almost goes onto power saving mode, if you will. So yeah, it gets to a certain point where I can't take it, and I basically just go into like shutdown mode, and yeah, so it that's kind of where I never really enjoy going to pubs and clubs and stuff, because I just my brain doesn't really like all that noise, all that, if there's lots of conversations going on all at once, that kind of like different directions, plus things like music and stuff like that happening in the background, that can be quite disorientating almost. But I've had panic attacks and stuff like that because of it. So yeah, it can be quite disorientating, sometimes stressful, to have lots of things going on all at once, and it can be quite fatiguing for me sometimes. Sometimes sometimes it wears me out, and then like the next day I'm knackered and I'm burnt out, and it's like I feel like I need like 2 or 3 days to recover. So it's that's just from maybe the bombardment of lots of different things all at once. Can be quite tiring. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I can't really think of what else to say. But yeah, it can be discombobulating, and really quite stressful and tiring. For your brain just gets overloaded basically, and it can be quite mentally exhausting, trying to not react to it. Which as an autistic person trying to live in an normal person's world, you kind of have to suppress that reaction and not lash out, because it's not the thing to do. So yeah, yeah, I think that's it really. Can't really think what else to say. I've rambled enough at you for now, I think. So yeah, if any questions or comments, feel free to put them down in the comments below. And yeah, see you in the next one.